Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all keeping well. Today I'm going to be talking about the Curve H and the Curve 2023 wing I recently got. I'll be talking about aspect ratios and wings in general. So let's get down to Seaburn. So the Curve and the Curve H. So the Curve H is obviously a higher aspect wing. It's about 8.5 aspect and the Curve is 6.8 aspect. And the Curve H is made from high modulus carbon and the normal Curve is made just from normal prepaid carbon. And the difference between the two obviously is that the Curve H has got better glide, which is great for a bigger guy like me that's middle-aged. It gets me into them waves a little bit easier, and the kind of swell we have is quite small to medium size. I've got the Curve to use in the windier, bigger waves. I think depending where you live, depends what kind of wing you should actually buy. You know, some guys are going for the really high aspect stuff, and that's great if you're wanting to do downwinders and things like that, but if you're just wanting to ride short swell periods, then probably you need something more like a Spitfire or more like the Fluid, the normal Curve. The Curve H being slightly higher aspect is probably better suited to somewhere like Seaburn, where we have the medium sized 3-4 foot swells, which are quite slow moving, decent to get in on and great fun. For me though, it's all about the wave. It's all about this 3 to 4 foot swell in Seaburn. That's why I chose the Curve H, which is my favourite overall wing, to be quite honest. I do like the Curve as well, but I think that's better suited for somebody who's going into slightly bigger waves. I'm coming from a big guy in an intermediate sort of stage.
So which one to choose? Well, the Curve H is slightly better at gliding, but it's also a little bit more technical to ride, a little bit harder to get up onto foil. So really you kind of want to have your jibes down before you go for that. Whereas the Curve 2023 is a lot easier to get up, and it would be better suited to somebody coming from, say, like a crossover foil or something like that as an intermediate stage before you start on the higher aspect stuff, the mid aspect H range from Gong. Here's the lads waiting on some wind there. Me and the guy's going to head into the water now. You can see Savio there with his homemade board, and he's going into the water with 7-meter wing. I'm going in with a 6 and the Curve H. Just behind us is Grant, and he's heading out today. I think he's on the Eagle. That's quite a high aspect wing. It is about 9 or 10 I think aspect ratio, so it's quite a high aspect. For me, at 95 kilos, I can get the Curve H up in a 14 mile an hour with a 6-meter wing, and I can hold that down to easily 35 with a 4-meter wing. The Curve 2023, I do have the large size on this one, so obviously it's going to need more wind because of that, but I'm looking about 25 miles an hour, and I'll generally be on a 5 or a 4-meter wing with that one. It is cheaper as well. The Curve 2023 obviously isn't high modular carbon, so it is a lot cheaper than the Curve H, which is high modular carbon, but it is stiffer, the Curve H, but it is at a price point. So they're kind of the pros and cons of the two. They are both great wings, and the two sizes I've got I think work really well together, one being my high wind wing and one being my lower all-round wing. But I have used the Curve H a heck of a lot more than I have used the Curve, to be honest with you, because it just works in so many more conditions. So all the big brands now have a medium aspect wing, whether it's Armstrong's MAs or it's the F1 Skate or it's the Axis Spitfire or if it's Gong's Curve H. They all have different profiles, so they will feel slightly different, but they're all around that same aspect ratio. And it's really interesting, you know, they turn really well on the waves. You have your high aspect stuff, which in my opinion for downwinding etc, and for longer cruising, maybe winging if you like that sort of thing, it will glide you a lot longer. But obviously the mid aspect will help you turn that much better, especially if you want to play around in the waves.
I'm going for 5.
So luckily the wind's picked up and so have the bumps as well, and we change out for some 4-meter wings and head back out. Grant is still on his Eagle, and that 9.5 aspect ratio really helps him glide a little bit more on these tiny little bumps. So there's so many foils on the market now. It's great, you can choose whatever foil you want for whatever discipline you want, and you can just mix and match as you go. So next time, have a think about aspect ratios and what you want to buy the foil for, and your size and local conditions. So that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for all the likes and the comments. On the next one, I'm going to be looking at Savio's new board. I'm also going to try a 97 litre board, and I'm also going to try high aspect foil and play around with some stabs on my current setup. So I'll see you on that. Good wins and take care.